Hey everyone, welcome to this section. In this section we'll discuss regarding the concept of legacy firewall versus the next-gen firewall. So it becomes an important point for those who wants to just get to know the difference between a legacy firewall, what are the features that the legacy firewall is having, and why we are now concentrating on next-gen firewall more as compared to any legacy products. Okay, so let's discuss that. So let's talk about the term with legacy network firewall versus next gen or next generation firewalls, right? So first of all, what is a firewall? As we know, so firewall is a security device or a software that monitors any type of data, right? Or you can say monitors and controls your incoming and outgoing network traffic. So let's say you have got a firewall over here, which could be either a legacy firewall or a next-gen firewall. Whenever any traffic that is trying to traverse this particular firewall from any of the interfaces, so the job is to monitor the traffic that is traversing through the particular firewall appliance, whether it's incoming traffic or outgoing traffic, based on the predefined security rules. So it acts as a barrier between a trusted network. So behind a firewall you can place the trusted network. Let us say the LAN that we have, it is called as a trusted network, and behind the firewall on the other side it can have the internet, which is basically the untrusted network, right? So so firewall, as a simple term, it's a security device or a software that usually monitors and controls your incoming and outgoing network traffic, and make sure that we write down security rules to match against the network traffic. And also it is acting as a barrier between the trusted internal network and the untrusted external network, example that like internet. So regarding legacy network firewall, so I can say with a definition that it's a traditional or legacy firewall. So you can say legacy network firewall, you can define it. So you can say that a traditional or legacy firewall is a basic security device that filters traffic based on IP address, layer 4 port numbers, and protocols, right? So it's traditional legacy firewall. It's a security device that will filter the traffic only based on IP address, which is a layer 3 component, port numbers, that is layer 4 component, and protocols, right? What are the key features that we have in terms of any legacy firewalls? The key features that we get is, first of all, we get packet filtering, right? Packet filtering, which means that the legacy firewall can examine the packet based on source or destination IP address, source or destination port numbers and protocols, right? Number 2 is it can go for stateful inspection, right? Stateful inspection, that means it will keep the track of any active connection to allow or block the traffic, right? So whatever traffic that it is allowing to pass currently, it will keep a entry or information about the active connection. So if I have a firewall over here, this firewall has allowed some traffic to travel from that trusted zone to that untrusted zone, then this particular connection information the firewall will keep inside a table. That table is called as a stateful table, right? So if this connection is allowed, then on that return entry is automatically allowed. The same connection, the return traffic can be automatically allowed. All right, So it is more of stateful inspection. Next is your access control list, which is also called as ACL, is also a feature. Access control list, also called as ACL. That means the ACLs where you can define the rules to permit or deny the traffic. Okay, so access control lists are basically the rules to permit or deny any type of network traffic. Okay, and also you can do basic NAT, right? Also you can do basic NAT, that is network address translation, where you can hide the internal IP address from any external network, right? So what are the limitations that we have, which will be more of an interesting factor of your legacy firewall? The limitations that the legacy firewall brings in. The first limitation that we have is lack of deep packet inspection. Lack of deep packet inspection, right? Also called as DPI, which means that the legacy firewall, it cannot analyze the actual content of your data packets, right? So it cannot go and look at layer 7 and look into the payload of this particular packet at layer 7, the real contents of that data. And similarly, number 2, it's like no application awareness, which is very, very important in today's world. No application awareness. That means that the legacy firewall cannot differentiate between different types of application which can use the same port number. Okay, so using a same port number, I can have multiple application, but my legacy firewalls cannot differentiate between them. Okay, so which is very bad. Number 3 is no integrated threat protection. No integrated threat protection. That means it lacks the advanced security features like intrusion prevention, malware detection, sandboxing. So those features are not part of it, right? So lack of features like intrusion prevention, malware detection, sandboxing. Sandboxing means if the traffic contents, or if the traffic which has been arriving, let us say from external world to the LAN, might be regarding this traffic patterns or the signature patterns, the firewall, if it is not knowing, then the firewall can send that particular traffic pattern and analyze this in a cloud environment called as a sandbox environment, right, to test the behavior of that particular traffic, right? Number 4 is it's easier to bypass. That's very, very important. So that means attackers can use various encrypted traffic or application layer attacks to evade the detection, right? That means from outside people can use various techniques to bypass your legacy firewall and access your internal corp resources. Okay, versus when you talk about any next gen firewall, right? So next generation firewalls, when you think about them, right, first of all, if you think about the definition itself, so I can say that a next gen firewall is an advanced firewall that integrates your traditional firewall capabilities with additional security features like application awareness, deep packet inspection, intrusion prevention, VPN solutions inbuilt, etc., right? So I can say NGFW, which is called as next generation firewall, NGFW is an advanced firewall that integrates traditional firewall capabilities with additional security features like application awareness, deep packet inspection, also called as DPI, intrusion prevention, VPN solutions, etc. So what are the key features that we have with your next-gen firewall? There are many. First is your deep packet inspection. Deep packet inspection, also called as DPI, which means that the next-gen firewall can examine the full content of your network packets, not just the basic IP headers, or not just the header part. That means it can do inspection at layer 7 as well. Next is application awareness and control, right? Number 2 is application awareness and control, which means that the next-gen firewall can identify and control the traffic based on application. That means it can block the social media traffic, it can block any streaming services like YouTube traffic, etc. Right? So that means next-gen firewall knows that if an application is running with the same port number, if multiple application is running with the same port number, but it can block and deny or might be permit some traffic based on application rather than the port number itself. Right? So it can block YouTube, it can block social media, allow some certain traffic to social media, block some certain traffic from social media, etc. So it can play the game of traffic filtering based on application identities. Number 3 is intrusion prevention system, also called as IPS. That means your next-gen firewall has got integrated IPS, which means it can detect and block any cyber threats in real time. All right. Likewise, number 4 is advanced threat prevention. Right, which means that it includes features like malware analysis, antivirus scanning, different types of security profiles, sandboxing. So all those advanced threat protection features are made part of next generation firewall. And although to use those advanced threat prevention features, you would need licensing as well. So once it is licensed, then these features can be used properly. Next is your SSL/TLS inspection, which is a very, very important component. That means using SSL and TLS inspection technique, the next-gen firewall can decrypt and it can inspect any type of encrypted traffic for any hidden threats. Okay, so SSL and TLS decryption is possible with next-gen firewall. Number 6 is user identity and role-based access, which is a very, very important term. User identity and role-based access. So which means the next-gen firewall can enforce the policies based on user identity instead of just IP addresses. Right? So the IP addresses can be changed by a particular user. So rather filtering the traffic based on IP addresses, you can filter the traffic based on user identity, which is much more considered secured as compared to normal filtering using IP addresses. And number 7, last but not the least, I'll say cloud integration and SD-WAN support, which is a very, very important topic nowadays. Cloud integration and SD-WAN support. So with the next-gen firewall, it adapts to any modern cloud environment and it supports remote work setups as well. Right, so it offers various advantages over the legacy firewall, as you can see. So I can say better security as compared to your legacy firewalls, right? So the next-gen firewall can protect against any type of modern cyber threats like zero-day attacks or ransomware in a better manner. Then we as administrator can have granular control, which means that we can provide detailed visibility and control over application, control over users and devices. And accordingly, we can write down various granular security policies. Of course, we'll have improved performance. If you think of next-gen firewall, that means it uses optimized traffic inspection techniques to minimize any latency features, and it is more adaptable, right? It is more adaptable. So it supports cloud-based environments and remote access security environments, so it is considered as more adaptable, right? So features like, deep packet inspection, features like application control, features like having intrusion prevention system, knowing blocking and using the advanced malware and threat protection techniques, using SSL TLS inspection, using user-based policies, using cloud and remote work, or having SD-WAN support. So all those makes next-gen firewall much more capable as compared to legacy firewall, right? Now the last thing before I want to wind up is when you want to use the next-gen firewall over legacy firewall, right? So when do you think it is recommended? So I can say when to use the NGFW over legacy firewall. Okay, so first is think like if your organization needs advanced security beyond basic packet filtering, right? So the first point could be if your organization need advanced security services as opposed to basic packet filtering techniques, that means you should switch to next-gen firewall. Next is if you need to monitor encrypted traffic for hidden threats, right? If you need to monitor encrypted traffic for hidden threats, that means doing SSL TLS inspection, that means you need to switch to next-gen firewalls. Likewise, if you want application level controls, to block or allow specific application, then you should think of switching to next-gen firewall. Likewise, if you need intrusion prevention system to stop real-time cyber threats, and likewise if your network includes cloud application and remote users, then you should think of switching to next-gen firewall, right? So at the very end, I could say that legacy firewalls are outdated and mainly it is used for simple network protection, but next-gen firewalls, also called as NGFWs, they provide enhanced security, better visibility of your traffic, and it provides advanced threat protection features, which makes them essential for modern cybersecurity strategies and techniques, right? So there are various brands like Palo Alto, Cisco, Fortinet, they offer various next-gen firewall products to the market. All right, so I hope it is clear. I thank you for watching and enjoy the course. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.